If you really care about your health, then you don't just worry about macros and calories. You need to worry about where your food's coming from and the impact that it's having on the planet. If you care about real health, then you need to shake the hand that feeds you. Join us. We're going to go for a ruck march and talk about just that. Let's go. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Adam. Welcome to day 115 of the 5 a.m. Squat Club, your follow-along morning routine for success. We're here every day, priming our minds, priming our bodies, making steps towards our goals. It's so simple. Today, and I think every Saturday, we're going to continue with this rucksack theme. We're going to take a topic, we're going to talk about it while we move our bodies. So if you're on board, let's go ahead and grab yourself a backpack or a weight vest or some things you can throw over your shoulders or carry in your arms, something that's going to add some load and make this walk just a little more uncomfortable. Let's go. Pro tip before you go, put your shoes on before you put all your backpack on, because once you sit down, it's hard to get back up. Let's go. All right. I've got an extra 105 pounds on. Hopefully I've chosen something that is going to be challenging. As you can see, I'm going to walk leaned over a little bit because this is pulling me over. So I'm going to grab the camera. We'll head outside. It'll be a little hard to see, but let's get it. All right, you may not be able to see me yet, but I'm gonna go in a lighter area here. And if you're new here, you know that we gotta start our day with priming our mind. So step one is getting our thoughts straight so that we're not chasing thoughts all day. We get to prime, choose our thoughts. So first is I am responsible, and this is an example of it. I am up here. You hear the coyotes? I don't know if you can hear that, but they're going crazy. I'm up here. Nobody's going to come and wake me up. Nobody's going to achieve my goals for me. Nobody's going to do the work. If I'm going to fail, it's on me. If I'm going to be successful, it's on me. Nobody's coming to save me. Number two is I will work on making time between stimulus and response, so the people around me don't get a snappy, reactive response. They get a thought through, better version of me. I have all I need to succeed today, and will focus on progress over perfection. Take a step. The only way that you're going to get to your goals is by starting, taking small steps, screwing up, iterating, and getting better. Don't aim for perfection day one. Aim for start. Aim for done on your task. And the last one is I choose gratitude. I just want to make sure that I'm not just focusing on the negative. I'm very good at noticing faults, working to improve those. But the more I focus on the negative, the more I see the negative. So if I choose gratitude, I can focus on the things that are important, that are good. And as a result, I'll see more of them. So I'm responsible. I'll make time between stimulus and response. I have all I need to succeed today. We'll focus on progress over perfection. I choose gratitude. All right. Next, we would hit our warm-up, but we're in it. We're in the midst of it. So we're just going to talk. This is our workout today. Get uncomfortable walking around. And we're going to talk about food a little bit more. I'll give a little bit of history. You know, I've always been interested in health and fitness and trying to find out ways to eat right to improve that. And throughout my history, I've gone through many iterations of, trying to eat as much protein as I can, or balancing macros, or counting calories, or cutting this or adding that. And they're all useful tools for managing certain things. If you're talking about body composition or performance, or certain metrics of health, that you can modify the amounts of certain things you're eating, or cut it out or add it in order to hit certain health metrics. But what I've learned more recently since becoming a food producer myself is that there's so much more to the picture than just your food choices in terms of what they put into your body in terms of energy or hormone balance. What I'm learning is that, and it seems so simple to say now, but that the soil is everything. Everything comes from the soil, whether you're eating plants or animals. They eat plants that come from the soil. And the soil is so much more than just a pile of dirt that you grow stuff in. And this is probably the most important thing, is that, you know, in a handful of dirt, there are trillions of organisms. And they work in a symbiotic relationship with the, you know, the microbiology, all the microorganisms in there. And then with the plants themselves, it's all a coordinated dance. So what I'm learning here, a couple things, is that the way that your food is produced is super important. I'll probably get into that a little bit more. And then in that, where your food is produced, because that'll have a bearing on the effect on the soil and where you are. So first we'll talk about just the effect that growing food has on soil in different methods. You know, number one, I moved out here and I didn't know much about agriculture, but I can look around now at the fields outside of me and then my own property as well. I use my own property as an example because before we got here, this place was, call it, farmed conventionally for a long time. And I'll explain maybe what that means in a sec, but if you walk around our fields, you'll see that there's a lot of bare ground, a lot of ground where there's no grass, no cover. It's just dry, dead clay. And if you put a shovel in there, first of all, it's almost impossible because it's so hard. But you don't find anything. It's just this gray, hard clay when you are able to break it up. And then if you just go off that field, past the fence line, to a place that hasn't been farmed before, and there is no bare ground, it's all covered by grass and plants and trees. And when you do find the soil, it's dark, black, moist, and soft. So the first point that I've learned, the first takeaway here, and there's so many more factors that will point to it, but the more that we till up our soil and turn it over, and this is kind of the conventional method right now, right? If I look across the street, there's a field full of corn. If I look over there, there's a field full of soybeans. On the other side is another field full of soybeans. And the way that that is produced is the ground is dug up every spring. They plant, they spray pesticides all year, they harvest it in the fall, and then lather, rinse, repeat. And sometimes there's some chemical fertilizer applied there. But for the most part, what's happening is they're taking, and planting one thing. And the two things that are bad about that is that in nature, you never have one thing planted, right? If you go outside and find a spot that's not man-made, you will find biodiversity. You'll find different plants, trees, grasses, forbs, you know, what some people would call weeds. You're never going to find just a field of one thing. Nature abhors that. It also abhors bare ground. So when you till up the ground, first you're killing everything in it. You're exposing it to the sun and the heat and the oxygen, which it doesn't want. Not that it doesn't want oxygen, but not at that level. You're killing the soil, and then you're planting the same thing in it for hundreds of acres. And one, the soil doesn't like that. Two, it brings in tons and tons of pests because the pest that likes that one plant, it's like a buffet. Hey, look at all this buffet. So you end up with problems that need to be solved with chemical pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides to kill those pests. And then you think you're eating that. So, you know, is it good for the soil? Not so much. Is it good for the ecosystem? Not so much. Well, then you think, well, how can I produce food without doing that? Well, it's a slightly slower method. It's a slightly less, plants per acre efficiency method, but it's about going back to nature. It's about looking at, I think, first, how were humans eating? How should they eat? And realistically, should it involve as much corn and soy? I definitely don't think so. And then, not only that, in terms of, what we're eating and is that right, but are we having an effect on our planet that we want? So one way, without getting too long-winded here, one way that you can take accountability and take control of your impact on the planet and your impact on your health through your food is get out of the grocery store. This is the point here. Shake the hand that feeds you. If you want better health for your family and for your soil, go find out how it's happening. Go find out, hey, who's growing this and how are you doing it? And can I go see it? I find it very funny that, those giant producers, you can't go look. If you wanted to go to a big giant egg house, one of those hen houses that are full of 30,000 chickens, and you wanted to see what it looks like, no chance they're gonna let you in. And if they did, you'd have to wear a hazmat suit. But that's not the point, right? Go see it. The people who are growing food locally and who care about it, they're gonna be doing a good job. They're gonna be taking care of the soil, taking care of the animals, as opposed to just aiming for max profit. So if you want health for yourself, shake the hand that feeds you. If you want health for the animals that you're eating, shake the hand that feeds you. If you want health for the soil and the planet, and for us to be at a place where we don't have to get off this thing in 30 years because we've ruined it, shake the hand that feeds you. Get to your farmer's market, drive around, get to know some local farmers, see where food actually comes from. And the more you see real food growing, the more you will be not interested in buying the kind of crap that most North Americans are eating and the stuff that's growing around me. Although, to be honest, it's probably mostly used for ethanol and cattle feed anyways. But if you care, it's on you. Take accountability. Go meet some people. Yes, it's going to be less efficient and maybe harder for you to do, but bring your family. Show them what it's like. Show them that food does not come from a grocery store. Get out there. Make yourself a good choice for your health, for your family's health, for the planet's health. Let's go. All right, we're gonna get inside here, get this off, we'll get a little stretch, and then we'll talk about homework. Let's go. Oh, this is getting uncomfortable. Awesome job. All right, fantastic work. Hopefully that wasn't too disjointed and gave you at least a little bit of an idea of how you can take the steps towards getting better food, better health for you and your family. So let's do this. We'll just come down into a nice easy paleo squat here. If you need a counterbalance because you feel like you're gonna fall over, grab yourself a dumbbell or something. I should take it out of my bag. And we'll just hang out here and open up the hips and talk a little bit about that. So, you don't have to go to this extreme of raising your own food, unless you're as concerned as I am and, maybe you don't have any great options around you. Although if you drive a little bit, you'll generally find something pretty good. There are resources online. The term that is least greenwashed right now is regenerative agriculture. In a few years, it'll probably be something different because the big food producers will co-opt that term and it'll become nothing. But currently, regenerative agriculture, and the idea is that we are trying to rebuild soil health. What we've lost over the years through through conventional agriculture. When you do tillage, right, I didn't mention this, but when you dig up the soil like we do, you know, they go through with discs and plows and they break up all the soil. What happens there before you have new plants growing, the soil sits there, they call fallow. And when it blows wind or when it rains, you know, most land is not perfectly flat. What happens is that soil runs off. It erodes. And over time, you lose your topsoil, which obviously is hard for growing things. And all that topsoil, along with the things that we're putting in it, right? So the pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, chemical fertilizers, all that stuff that we're spraying in it ends up going down into our waterways. You know, so we talk about the buildup of silt and gunk in the lakes and rivers. That's because we are plowing and tilling and ripping up our soil and turning it into dirt that can then flow down into a ditch, into a river or a stream, and eventually into lakes and oceans. Stop it. So, you're so cute. So for me, like, this is the most important thing. The way that I look at it is, you know, we ruin civilizations end when we ruin our soil. If you look into it, that is the truth. We are en route to ruining our soil by continuous plowing and tilling, planting monocrops, and spraying with everything to kill and to grow at the same time. If you're interested in more of this, reach out. I mean, I'm happy to talk food all the time. I've become a farmer. I've become very invested in this. But not necessarily the point of this channel. So reach out if you want to chat more. Now that we've done our workout, now that we've gotten our body moving for the day, we've gotten our thoughts primed, we need to make progress. So from 5:13 to 6:13 or 6:30 or 7:13, depending on where you're at, homework time. Sit down, dedicate an hour to your goals. Whether it's reading a book, writing a book, doing a course, learning something new, it doesn't matter what it is. It is the step towards your far off goal, your big dream, your perfect day. What are the steps that will take you there? Do that one now. Spend an hour every day. We carve it out so that we guarantee your progress. Pretty cool, right? Just join us every morning. We are live every day, 4:45 a.m., starting Monday, basically every day. So if you want to step it up, all there is to do is to join us. Check the link in the bio for our school community where we are going to get together afterwards, not necessarily today, but start building a community that works towards our goals. Like, subscribe, comment, share this video with someone else who would benefit. Let's go. Let's make progress together. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's go. I've already been outside, but we'll take a peek anyways. It's dark. There we go. You can definitely see Venus and Jupiter well. Beautiful morning. Have yourselves a fantastic day. Go get it.